All right, good morning. I'm Nathan Bowman. I'm going to be talking about the founding of the Duke Parapsychology Lab today. So, a brief overview, we're just going to be talking about what parapsychology is, the founding of the laboratory at Duke University, this guy J.B. Rhine, and why any of this actually matters, and where it's at today. So to start off, parapsychology is essentially the investigation of events that happen outside of our normal perception range. I'm sure you've heard of ESP, extrasensory perception. That's things like telepathy, precognition, and clairvoyance. And psychokinesis is also included in parapsychology. It's the ability to move things with your mind. And there's a lot of different branches about that. So does anybody want to volunteer to be part of a menial experiment? Anybody? Anybody?
I will. Oh,
Okay.
wait, you got to volunteer?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Emma.
All right. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to move. So, did you get that list of instructions?
No.
Okay. So clearly not telepathic. Do you know the next thing that I'm going to have you do?
Maybe.
Can you tell me?
Stand up.
No.
Yep.
Good try. Can you tell what I'm hiding in my pocket?
Your phone.
Nope. The match. From back there, can you light this match on fire using your mind? Here's not. Maybe it's a bad match. I don't know. So that is a test of all four of these abilities that parapsychology looks at. Sorry, appears you're not paranormal. So, going on, we're going to look at the Duke Parapsychology Laboratory. So in 1928, William McDougall, he becomes the head of the psychology department at Duke University. And he invites J.B. Rhine to join the psychology program and basically create a program that is looking at post-mortem survival. Does anybody know what post-mortem survival is? Basically, in a nutshell, it's reincarnation. They wanted to study reincarnation at Duke University. And a year after he's invited there, he founds the parapsychology lab. And for 35 years, J.B. Rhine is conducting experiments over ESP and psychokinesis. So this fine gentleman is Joseph Banks Rhine. He is actually he had a PhD in plant physiology, not psychology, doesn't even deal with humans. He's essentially just a botanist. But he's invited to come to Duke University, create a program to explore parapsychology. And for 20 years, the psychology department and the parapsychology department are intertwined. In 1950, they get a divorce, and 15 years later, Ryan leaves from the parapsychology lab to create his own foundation to do independent research outside of Duke. And he does that for 15 years, and eventually, in the same year that he leaves, actually, he creates the Journal of Parapsychology, which still exists today and is still being published in. So, why is this important at all? Parapsychology and psychology are both branches of the same tree. We've talked about public psychology in class before, and a lot of the negative implications that's come with it. And so how do we distinguish from science and everything that isn't science? Anybody know? No scientists in here? That's okay. Falsifiability is the number one difference between science and pseudoscience. So science has criteria that would make a claim false. As we know, that's what we do in experiments. And pseudoscience explains failures away. So for example, one of the books I was reading, I found this beautiful line. And some may be able to demonstrate psi, that's psychic ability, only in the presence of select others, which completely explains any failures away. This was actually one of 3 failures, 3 explanations for failures, rather. And I just find that fascinating, because as scientists, we want to make claims. Well, we want to prove claims false, essentially. That's the null hypothesis. And pseudoscience just wants to explain all of it away to ensure that I'm not actually sure how I was going with that. They just try to explain failures away. We'll leave that there. So parapsychology today, it is still going on. Their methods have significantly improved since when they started in the 50s, or the 30s, excuse me. The foundation of research on the nature of man is now the Rhine Research Center. And today experiments are geared towards healing, bioenergy. It's very much a spiritual thing now. And while people do still believe that it is pseudoscience, the standards are significantly better than they used to be. And that's all I have. You have any questions? Questions? Yeah.
Did they find anything like significant that allowed them to like open their labs and everything like that?
So J.B. Rhine, he was actually the only one that found any significant results in any of his research. He was heavily criticized for that because nobody else could replicate his research. And when they did, they didn't find any significant results at all. So, yeah, good question. Yes.
What events led up to J.B. Rhine getting moved from like a botanist to?
William McDougall liked him because he had an interest in paranormal activity, I guess. That's really about it. He was really one of the only people that expressed academic interest in the parapsychology side of psychology. Living.
What was kind of the public reaction to all of this? Like how was it perceived?
Heavy skepticism, as it still is perceived today. Any other questions?
In addition to Duke University, were there other universities that were opening parapsychology branches or?
I did not look into that.
Sorry.
Not that I'm aware of. Duke was definitely the biggest one. I know Harvard had a little bit of interest prior to Duke, but Duke was the biggest one. Other questions? All right, thank you.